This is Beyond the Reps, where we discuss any and everything related to health, fitness, wellness, and performance. I am your host, George Griffith, ACSM certified exercise physiologist, and I'll be bringing my 27 years of experience to engage with guests to bring you education, motivation, and inspiration. The fitness industry has the potential to do a significant amount of good. And one of the areas with tremendous potential is the area of exercise and addiction. And today I have with me Allison Gotip. I almost said doctor.
Feel free.
Director of Clinical Services at Verdun and Marina.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. Before we start, just give us kind of a rundown of what your typical day would look like without going into too much detail that you can't share, obviously.
So Verdun and Marina, very fluid. We deal with males and females who are battling the disease of addiction and all the connected issues and challenges that go with that. So the mental health. So as I said, you can come in, think that you're going to do A, B, C, and D, but human behavior means that it's a very fluid job. It requires doing one-on-one counseling, overseeing a clinical department. I'm also part of the executive team. So I'm one of the people who signed the checks, George.
Right. Okay.
Right, at Verdun and Marina.
Right.
But so it's just quite intense, but so rewarding. Being able to see people overcome their challenges and live in a healthy, high quality of life.
Right. And I can attest to that because I have one of your graduates, I guess, for want of a better word, who's working with me.
Right.
But tell us, what's your background? How did you get to this point and how did you get to be in this position?
Oh, wow. So I would have done my counseling. I'm born and bred in England, as you can tell by my accent. Been here 15 years. Well, I think it must be about 16 now.
Right.
I keep on sticking at 15, but I think it's about 16 years. Would have done my counseling, would have done my bachelor's in social sciences. When I came over to Barbados, I just knew that I was going to be in the helping profession.
Right.
And so I started off as a counsellor in the Salvation Army. Then I transitioned in working at CASA, which works with young people counselling. And then I went over to Verdun and Marina House, started off as a clinician, and in 5 years' time became the director.
Very good. Well, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
I mean, I want to stress that this is supremely important work.
Yeah.
The fitness industry nowadays, if you look at social media, it seems like it's everybody just training their glutes. Another influencer with too short shorts on. Sure, you have to develop your glutes. But this is one of the areas I think where, we kind of have to step away from some of the aesthetics and look at some of the deeper issues facing people when it comes to health and wellness.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about how you view the role of exercise in the treatment and management of addiction.
Right. It is so important because we have a biopsychosocial spiritual model that we use.
Yeah.
So it's a holistic model. And it's so important for us not just to look at the addiction, because I always say that addiction is the outward manifestation. We have to look at the pain. Right. And in order to do that, part of that is the physical well-being of that person. So when persons come in, obviously they have been using mood-altering substances for a while. So they may not even be aware of some of their physical issues that are happening. On our schedule, on a day-to-day, there is physical activity. They do, when the clients wake up, they have to do exercises, much to some of their annoyance.
Right.
Exercise, because we believe that it's so important just to get the blood flowing, just to get that movement, to build that accountability, and to start being able, because what I found being into exercise myself is becoming very aware of your body. Right. Being able to listen to your body and how empowering that can be. So we ensure that that's part of it. We have a gym there. We're always going on hikes. We would have been part of the bar race, I believe, at one point. We have done the Great Train hike. We've done so many things that incorporate being physically active, because impact that it has on your mind, the impact that it has on the endorphins and your dopamine, is so important. And we also do a lot of mind and body processes. So that means in terms of yoga and meditation, because I always say, let's set these clients up for success. So we need to intervene and to treat the whole person.
And that's again, like I'm completely blown away by what you guys do. And we've tried to help in the past, with some classes and donating some old exercise equipment and so on.
Surely have appreciate it.
Yeah. And how can you give to us in numbers, in some numbers, for example, how effective is exercise as a treatment protocol?
Well,
obviously, I guess it's part of a greater intervention.
What I can say is that every single client has to take part, no matter, we've got persons who are there, 65 and above, and then we have very young persons.
Right.
And we found that it really sets them up for the day. When we look at figures, although we have a research arm at Verdun Arena, we haven't done the research ourselves, but I know that there is a 30 to about 50% rate of success for persons not to relapse within the first 12 months when they incorporate exercise.
Okay.
Because exercise, as you know, there's a discipline.
Absolutely.
There's, as I said, the body awareness. There is the sense of feeling strong, because we realize that addiction is very interlinked with trauma.
Right.
And these are often victims, and they feel weak and they feel powerless. And to be able to do something like strength training and to be able to say, wow, I was, lifting 10 pounds. Now I'm lifting 15. It does something to your mind to say, you know what, I can actually do this. And also, I know you asked me for numbers and I'm going on, but you can see I'm passionate about it. It also allows us not to be aware of being uncomfortable.
Right. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable, as we say.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I need to push a little bit harder, having people encourage you when you're having those community sports.
Right.
So it's really important.
Okay. Now, how much of this work did you do in the UK before you came to Barbados?
Well, I didn't do much because I was really on a call-in program, a radio program, and we used to have calls that I would have to do counseling online.
On air.
So I wasn't really too active.
Right.
But I was with someone who was very much into exercise, and I've been really pushing that at Verdun Arena because I think it's important. I think it's important, especially for men, to get vitamin D, to be outside, to experience nature. And I think also I've always said that we're not magicians, we're clinicians.
Right.
However, I always get a sense of joy. Like I left the clients now and seeing them playing road tennis, right? It's just, and seeing them smiling and engaging and enjoying that, it's undescribable.
Right. Now, the following question from that was, do you think there's a big difference culturally in how people view addiction in Barbados as compared to where you were before in the UK?
Yes, I think we are still, and I say we because I say I am Bajan because I pay enough taxes here to say
right.
I'm Bajan. I think we still very much stigmatize. I know addiction is sometimes something that's, pushed under the carpet. And I think we need to move from, that's a paro, that's a man who's in Nelson Street, because addiction is no respecter of persons.
Right.
They're in the heights and the terraces. They're in the Nelson Streets. It really doesn't matter. And I think that it is seen sometimes as a moral failure when we know that it is actually a brain disorder. It's chronic and it interrupts the brain circuitry. Right. So, it affects the mood regulation, motivation, and impulse control. And when we start seeing it like that, then we start destigmatizing that and normalizing asking for help.
Let's say I have a relative, friend, partner who I suspect.
Just pause 1 minute. Everything is going well, but I just want to pull the mic from below a little bit.
Okay.
It's going to annoy me later. Not seeing a lot.
You gotta see that smile.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not too bad, but
right.
Circle back.
No worries.
Well, you want a mark or good to go? You need a mark or just go?
No, you could just keep going.
All right. So let's say I have a friend, a partner, a family member who appears to be, suffering from some form of addiction. Obviously, I'm not necessarily qualified to make that judgment, but where do I turn for help?
Right. So there's several ways because we have different treatment services. Yes, we do the residential, but we also have outpatient. We also have a day program. So first stop for most persons is to go to the assessment unit, which in itself can be a stigma because that's located in a psychiatric hospital.
Right.
So persons associate that with, you know, all the stigma that goes with mental health, etc. The only reason they have to go to the psychiatric hospital is because so it's subsidized by the Ministry of Health, persons coming into residential. But what I always encourage persons to do is because we do man a 24-hour hotline.
Right.
So if they give us a call and we can, you know, set them on the right path, you know, try to make it as seamless as possible. Because the moment that one of my staff members gets a call, we are going to do an assessment within 24 to 48 hours. Because the moment that person asks for help, we need to help them. I need to sleep when the nights come.
Right.
And I always just think, by the grace of God, there go I.
Right.
Right. And we need to be able to be our brother's keeper. And that's not just by words, but actually helping and going beyond.
How does this work affect you?
Hence why I'm always in the gym myself. It affects me. There is a reward,
Right.
you know, seeing lives changed. It is highly pressurized. And sometimes you lose some, which can be very, you know, sad, but we understand that that's the nature of addiction. So my therapy, I always say, God forgive me, because I think the gym comes before the church, but that's another story for another day.
Right.
But I actually do a lot of exercise because I always say that's my therapy. That starts off my day.
Right.
4 o'clock in the morning, I just need to breathe, think about the day ahead, and let's get moving.
Okay. All right. So, you know, there's a lot of words being thrown around in pop culture. And addiction is a word that people use frequently to describe everything, just about. Can you give us a little bit of a clinical definition of the word, and maybe compare it to other things that people are using to describe as being addicted to when maybe they're not really?
Right.
Yeah.
So addiction is a brain disease. It's chronic. It's compulsive. It's obsessive. And regardless of the harm that it's causing, your body, your mind, every part of you is crying out for that substance.
Right.
Right. So what we sometimes, you know, you have young persons who may just be, you know, just trying it out.
Right.
They're not addicted.
Okay.
They are simply using a substance. Right. They haven't got to that point, and hopefully they don't. Right. So we do have persons who do call us a lot of the times for their young person. I'm not saying not to panic. I'm a mother of 4, so I get it. But we have to realize it's that chronic compulsive brain disease.
Right.
Right. Where everything, it does not matter. You will sell any and everything to get that high. You're always chasing the next high.
And it's always a substance?
No, well, we have a substance addiction and we also have process addiction. So we have persons who, you know, are addicted to gambling, sex, and some of them are very much interlinked. Like you'll find a lot of persons who do have the substance use disorder, also linked to maybe gambling or some form of sex addiction as well.
Right.
So it's important for us to understand that the underlying issue is addiction. Even if someone's gambling, people may, you know, play that down and say, well, he hasn't really got a problem. It's not a substance. He's not harming anyone.
Right.
But is he losing money? Has he sold his house? All of those things. And I've had clients who've actually sold their house based on their gambling addiction because they're betting on the horses.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
Can you be addicted to shopping?
Yes.
You can be addicted to shopping?
Yes, you can. I'm sure when my CEO hears that, Mrs. Marietta Carrington,
right.
You know, I'm sure she might be on the spectrum too. But yes, you can be addicted. You can be addicted to shopping as well. Because once again, it's a high.
Right.
It doesn't really make sense. You might have 6 million pairs of shoes, but you want the next one. These ones look better, etc.
Okay. So then the obvious question is, can a person use exercise as a way of combating their addiction and end up being addicted to exercise? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's very rare.
Okay.
What you do find is persons who are continuously exercising, you know, at strange times, doing it secretively, even when they've got injuries or pain. It tends to be very much interlinked with, say, body dysmorphia,
right,
or an eating disorder. So those two are often linked. Sometimes we have had, I wouldn't say that they have had an addiction, but what we have had to do sometimes is to really monitor clients who may be using exercise, which is good in itself, but using it to actually numb certain things that they
Right.
need to deal with. Once again, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right. But it is very rare, and research shows that as well. It tends to be linked with that body dysmorphia.
Right. But so generally then, overall exercise is a good thing.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. So what would a prescription look like from you? For example, let's say you have a client who comes in, they're just getting started. You want to use exercise as part of the treatment plan. How much, how often, how frequent?
So it's very much individualized.
Okay.
So we have some young clients who are very into sports. So it's important that we incorporate recreational therapy into their treatment plan, because it is so important for us to speak their language.
Right.
So that's why when you go to Verdun, you'll see that there's a basketball court. I would have mentioned about road tennis. We've taken persons hiking, and especially hiking. There's something about that walking. We've also done recovery hikes. So understanding putting one step in front of the other, going up pot house. Is it up or down? I can't remember.
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Up, then you've obviously also gone down. Looking at incorporating movement. Right. So we have a creative arts therapist, and she does a lot of movement as well. So there's dance therapy, there's music therapy, and therefore if the person is a musician, obviously we're going to put in music therapy. If it's somebody who maybe does have some weight to lose, etc., we're going to incorporate that and have them understand the importance of healthy lifestyle.
Right.
Right.
What you said that there was a 30 to 50% increase rate of success as compared to those who didn't exercise. So what's the typical recidivism rate in the community?
Well, as I said, that is the international research, because every single one of our clients exercise. Right. So it is hard to differentiate those who don't from those who do, because every single one of them, that's what they've signed up for. Not your clients, right? In the overall treatment community. I'm not sure about those results, but what I can say is that once you are not having that balance in terms of healthy lifestyle, including exercise, it does then bring in things like, things that you may have been battling with before in terms of depression, in terms of anxiety, because then we're looking at, as I said, the endorphins, the dopamine regulation is so important. And if you're not doing anything, the likelihood, those are relapse triggers. Right. So the likelihood when you're not engaging in some form of exercise or movement, then it increases the chances of you relapsing.
Do you prefer the group format for your exercise programs?
I think there's a place for that. As I said, it builds accountability, because both Verdun and Marina really do a lot of community working together as a community, because once again, research shows that as much as I'm a clinician, that peer-to-peer support is key. Right. George has been through it, or he's on the road further along than me. That's an encouragement. So it really does help them, especially in the morning when some of them are very groggy. They're not really morning people, some of them. So to build that accountability is really key. So that's a baseline. But I do also believe that there needs to be that individual, because to be aware of your body and to really connect with yourself, there needs to be solitude, but not isolation.
Okay.
Right. So sometimes it means that our gym is very small, and I wouldn't really want to expand it, because I think one or two persons just being in there is enough for them to tap into what's happening with my body. How does that feel? Could I go heavier? Do I need to go lighter? Am I feeling a pain? Because you're reawakening something physically. Right. And when you start exercising and you start appreciating how your body moves, why would you want to use mood-altering substances?
I think I should have had you on my staff for the last 20 years. But let's talk about that person who's come into Verdun or Marina, and they've gone through the program, and they're at that point where you guys think they're ready to get back into the community. Yes. What does that transition look like?
The transition, well, I've always said that once they see us, we don't leave them. I always say once a client, always a client. Okay. So we have continuing care program, and that's key, because research shows that you really need to be connected with persons who've gone through treatment for at least 5 years. Right. Because what helps recovery is connection. Right. And we say it's a spiritual program, because you're connecting to self, connecting to others, and connecting to your higher power, whoever that could be. nature, God, Buddha, whoever,
Right.
right? So it's those three components. So what that looks like is that then you are actually given a mentor who's in the community, right? We really do encourage community groups like AA, NA, CA, those groups to encourage, once again, peer-to-peer motivation. Also, we do have very close relationships with a lot of the employers to make sure, so they can keep a finger on the pulse if the person starts changing, etc. So it becomes a real, almost like a family, because we ain't going nowhere. Right. And so once we found is that what can also help that when we're doing our discharge planning, we make sure that they have a recovery plan, right? And in that is exercise is always included.
Right.
So it's connecting to your sponsor, it's connecting to your mentor, it's making sure that you're going to meetings, it's coming back, because we have the idea of give back. So coming back and sharing your story with others, ensuring that you're exercising, working your job, right? Money management, life skills, etc. Because we are looking to have that balance. And when something's out of whack, then relapse can sometimes be inevitable.
This is such important work. How are you guys managing to do all this on your own? Do you need help? What can we do to help?
We always need help, George. We always need help, because I think sometimes my staff see me come in and they kind of just roll their eyes because I'm always having all these ideas, like, let's do this and what about this, etc. Within all of it being evidence-based. And because we're in Barbados, right, we sometimes, I always think it doesn't mean to say that we cannot be on a level that is internationally accredited, which we are, right? Which has it's so pivotal where we are, because it has to be in the cultural context as well. Because what happens in England is not necessarily going to work here in Barbados. So when we're always looking for help, we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for, I always have students in, because I believe that, substance use professionals need to be developed more here, and mental health clinicians. Obviously, we're always looking for donations, whether that's clothes, whether all of them go into the farm as well, because, we have a farm. We've got a pepper field there at Marina. We've got chickens to raise. So any farmers, anybody. So whether it's human resources, monetary, of your time, it's so important, because the social impact of Verdun and Marina House, that means less persons going to prison. That means stronger families. That means more confident men, confident females. So let's all invest as a community to invest into Verdun and Marina.
I like it. So is there anything that I didn't get to ask you so far that you think is important for the listeners and viewers at home to I
really think it's important for us to change our mindset. We are now celebrating 10 years of Marina House.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I think I've been on every TV program. I think people are probably tired of seeing me. Anyhow, I think it's really looking at changing our mindset. So addiction affects every single one of us. We know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, or it might be us. So it's really us as a communal voice saying, normalizing, asking for help.
Right.
If every single person or your viewers can normalize asking for help, because what we've done, even in the outpatient, is that we don't just deal with substance use disorders. We deal with crisis counseling, family intervention, workplace interventions, because everything's so interlinked. And because I have staff who are so experienced and qualified, it would be crazy for me not to utilize them to help the community in Barbados. So really normalize asking for help. And you can always ring our hotline on 243-0038.
Say it one more time.
243-0038, 24 hours, even if it's just to talk to somebody.
Okay. Allison, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you so much for the work you're doing at Verdun and Marina. I mean, I feel like we could stay here and talk all day, but I know you've got good work to get out there and do. But please, please, please make some time to come back and tell us about some of your programs in the future and continue to do your good work.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.